Hey y'all, it's Elisha and welcome back to Elisha's Crafty Hoblob. It is Tuesday, y'all. It is Tuesday and it is a teaching day. So this is my quick hello video and happy Tuesday, y'all. I'm also want to say I, like many of you, was just wowed by Jellybean's epic Happy Meal package. And after I logged off last night, I spent over an hour looking at it. And folks, it is so impressive. It is so impressive. It is like thicker than the chipboard that we buy. It was like a lesson in making in itself because each piece was layered up on several pieces of 110 cardstock and then fussy cut out and stickled. And I love handmade ephemera. But what Jellybean did is just remarkable. But it was also a lesson, not just in making. So the other day I was saying to y'all, oh my goodness, how did I outgrow these boxes? I'm always ephemera short. So do I have too much ephemera? And then Jellybean sent me this box. And in this box was more ephemera than I owned. And then I took a look and I realized, oh, this is something funny. I do have the 24 boxes full, but I have to tell you, I have very few collections. Like I realized after looking through Jellybean's box. So I have a ton of Maggie because I like Maggie Holmes ephemera, and people have been kind enough to either buy it for me or I bought it for myself. And I did buy the digitals because Donna Dreams had me convinced. After she did those digital packages for people, I was like, okay, I gotta buy at least my favorite collections like Chasing Dreams, an open book because you can't get it anymore, and I love Carousel. So I was like, okay, so I need to get those, and maybe I need to get Sunny Days because I'm going to be doing Sunny Days crafting. So out of those boxes, those 24 boxes, ask me how many of them are Maggie. Almost half. And guess what are in the others? Tim Holtz. So what do I have left? I've got some Jen Hadfield that Miss Dina, this Mama Loves Disney, sent me. Oh yeah, I've got that. I've got one pack of the Princess Ephemera because I'm working on something that I ordered, but it's almost gone because I'm using it for something. And I have the Rosie Studio, those 154 die cut packages I got. And I got 3 collections, right? So I've got 3 of those. I couldn't believe it. After I looked through Jellybean's box, I realized you still don't have much ephemera. Like, it's unbelievable. Because what Jellybean sent me was like ocean ephemera, summer crafting ephemera, distressed vintage ephemera, shabby ephemera. Then she sent me these like really cool girl ephemera. Really cool. She says it's a digital cut file you can get for free online. I was like, whoa, it's so cool. And then she sent me fairies, and she sent me nymphs, and then there were all these other cute collections I've never seen, and all this other kind of making, and I was like, okay. So out of my 24 boxes, half's Maggie, and the other half is Tim Holtz. So I still don't have that much ephemera, but now thanks to Jellybean I do. So what does this tell me? I have to really think this through. What, do I only ever make Maggie? No, but I guess I make with Maggie, and I make a lot of vintage and shabby stuff. And Prima doesn't really make ephemera. So when you're doing shabby crafting, you kind of have to innovate your own. So you don't really, until recently, there are digital collections for shabby ephemera, and I'm learning that. And that's what Jellybean included too in the box, because I don't have any, and she knows that. But you can't go to a store and buy shabby ephemera. You have to get it online. And you have to either you have to fussy cut it out yourself like Jellybean did, or you have to have a brother scan and cut, or you have to have a Cricut. So I don't have any shabby ephemera. I either have vintage or I have Maggie, and I have some Jen Hadfield. That's it. And Rosie's for mermaid crafting. Yeah. So I had a good laugh last night. Jellybean, I had a really good laugh at myself because it's like, oh, you've got less than 5 types of ephemera. But in that magical box that Jellybean sent me, was not only a year's worth of ephemera, it was a lesson. And I was like, okay. You gotta cool it with the Maggie until you use up what you have. Plus you have digital, so you can always reprint. And look at this amazing box, which is a breadth of making. And it also opened my eyes up to other digitals. I'm getting much more comfortable with digitals than I was originally. Jellybean is right. The next big tool I'm going to need in my life is a better printer. And P is right. I likely need a brother scan and cut. And that's probably the machine of choice for me. P sent me an amazing demonstration to watch this morning. And to be honest, I already watched May's, but I watched P's anyway also. I've watched 2 demonstrations from May now. The one P sent me and another one on the brother scan and cut. And I think eventually, if I'm going to buy one digital machine, it's going to be that one, just because it would let me scan in my drawings too and convert them into a handmade ephemera. In fact, what I know is true is that I love handmade ephemera, and I could make way more creative ephemera if I owned that machine. So the question is, which one? You know, the Disney one came with 1,200 images for free, which means I could make, you know, all sorts of fun things. But it's also much more expensive and it's harder to find. Or do I just need the one that does everything else? Plus, you can cut fabric with it. It's a pretty amazing machine. Will I cut fabric? I don't know. Maybe. I design clothes, so maybe. I'll have to think about it. But I think that is going to be my next tool. What a lesson, though, because here I was going on about my 24 boxes of ephemera, and the Jellybean sends me this box, and I'm like, I really only have 5 types of ephemera. Yeah, and none of mine were thicked up the way Jellybeans were, or stickled. I learned a lot from that box, y'all. Didn't just make me teary. I learned a lot. And for those of you that subscribed to Jellybean after watching that yesterday, here's what I'm going to tell you. If you want to be a better maker, and I always want to be a better maker. Like, there's so many things I still don't do well. Cartons. Like, I'm working on it, but I'm not great at it. And I told y'all, I can't put those little gemmy things down. Like, you know, those little teeny pearls Jellybean used? Yeah, I can't put those down. Now, P says I need some other tools. She saw my comment about that, and she said, girl, you don't have the right tools. That's why. So Kayla just ordered me a wax pencil. Thank you, Kayla. Because supposedly that makes it a little easier. And I did just get those new Sussex tweezers, but according to P, that's not going to be good enough. Like, I need some new tools. And so she kind of texted me and let me know what I need. But I look at that and, like, I always learn from Jellybean. And she is one of not only the expert crafters on here that is so generous and kind, but she really is willing to teach. So, like, I want to make those little simple charms that Wandy Sweets has been making and other people have been making. But every time I try to do it with my pliers, y'all, it looks messy. I told y'all I'm not investing in big jewelry findings, but I do want to do the basics, and I have the supplies for the basics. So Jellybean's making me a video because she's like, all right, you're doing something wrong. Let me show you what you're doing. And you're also using the wrong plier, I think. So this is what I mean about Jellybean. If you want to be a better maker, watching her videos, watching Donna Dream's videos on how to dye your own seam binding, watching Miss Judy, my scrapbook lofts book videos, watching Rosa Kelly's videos on how to build. All of these makers have very different styles and aesthetics, but you can learn from them how to construct things in a really solid, substantive way. And Carmen doesn't do videos, but if you swap with Carmen and you study what she makes, then you also will learn a lot, because she's an expert clean crafter, like Scrap Diva 29, and you can tell a lot from how she puts something together. So while she doesn't do video, she does do Instagram, and you can get to know her that way, but she's another expert level crafter, and she knows how to do a ton of jewelry things. She can make a chunky charm also like no one's business. It's so impressive. This girl will never be doing that. Off the list. Off the list. All right, y'all. Scrap Diva 29, who I don't talk about so often on here, and that's mostly just because y'all know clean crafting is not my ballywhack, but I do watch her. You know, there's 2 clean crafters I watch all the time. One of them is Scrap Diva 29, and the other is Ebony. Now, Ebony, it's hard to call her a clean crafter because she also does that great media stuff that I love. My favorite stuff that Ebony does is her wackadoodle spray painted fun stuff, but she also makes really pretty cards. And when her other style is clean crafting. So those are the 2 I watch. And Scrap Diva just hit 65,000 subscribers. Can you imagine? That's like incredible. And she's only been at it 5 years, y'all. But I also watch her for things like how she does her demonstrations for design teams. She's very professional. I think we all really like her style a lot. We appreciate her. And so she does have a challenge on right now. It's not super intense. It's not. She would love a small embelly box, but she really wants a Memdex. Go check it out. I'm going to put a link to it down below. And if you're a clean crafter, you want to subscribe or support to this. 1, you want to subscribe to her channel, but 2, you want to support this challenge. I personally don't feel confident enough to send her anything. The truth is, I've thought many times about sending her a package because I feel like she's so much fun to watch, and I've actually learned a lot from her. So I've thought about sending her a package to say thank you, but it's so intimidating because she makes clean crafting look so simple, And for me, it's anything but. So I feel like I'm going to send it to her and it's going to be a hot mess. But those of you who are clean crafters, go and support this challenge. I'll put a link to it down below. All right, y'all, your girl's got to get back to work. But I will be doing part 2 of the Epic Jellybean swap box. And I know many of you are looking forward to it. Me too. I have not even peeked. I have not. I am also going to share a video with you. And you got to prepare yourself for it because it's kind of an ouch video. But I think it's important to share. Today, China TV released a video about American attitudes towards what happened with the virus. And I got to tell you, at first I was like, ugh. Now I tell y'all, this offends my mom, but I am staunchly American. Don't ask me how, why it started. I told y'all I knew at 16 I was going to live here permanently. I don't know what it is. And I'm also patriotic. I've learned that. I like being American. I do. So I watched this video and my heart sank a little. And I'll tell you why. It's not untrue. I've done the research. It's not an untrue video. But boy, it makes us look bad. It does. And I worry a bit about that. I worry a bit about our American image post the corona crisis. You know how many people from around the world have contacted me and said, how is it you live in the greatest city in the world and you can't get these supplies? And we haven't talked about that on here, but it's been hard to handle those questions because I don't have an answer. I don't. I wish I did, but I don't. And so this video hit home for me. And I think if you're like me, you're a proud American, I think you should see it. I think you should know it's out there. You should know that it was put out there because I think China's been offended lately by a lot of the accusations that have been made, and it's their way of countering it. And if you do the research, you know they're not telling untruths. How do we fix this, y'all? How do we fix this? That remains to be the big question, I think. For those of us that love being American, I feel like a personal responsibility to help correct this somehow. And I don't know what the answer is yet, y'all, but I'm thinking on it. In the meantime, I'm sharing the video with you. It's in the link down below. If you're like me, you're a proud American, it's going to sting a little. Just be prepared. It's going to sting a little. You know, we got to somehow repair this. And how do we repair the American image? It's a really big question. It's one I'm going to post to my students this week, and I don't have an answer. But maybe some of you do. All right, y'all. I'll see you later on today with Jellybean's Happy Meal. Wishing you a happy, creative, and healthy, very healthy Tuesday. Bye for now.